That photo from 2010 everyone's crying over. You feel absolutely nothing. While your friends are sobbing about simpler times and posting throwback pictures with paragraphs about how much they miss being young, you're looking at the same images thinking, okay, and you're not heartless. You're not broken. Your brain just processes the past completely differently than most people. And according to psychology, that might actually be a superpower disguised as emotional detachment. Let's start with what's actually happening. When other people get hit with that nostalgic wave, their brain releases a cocktail of dopamine and serotonin triggered by memory recall. It's the same neurochemical response you get from eating chocolate or getting a hug. Literally addictive. When they see that old photo, their brain lights up like a Christmas tree. But your brain, cricket sounds, and there's a fascinating reason why. Psychology identifies different types of memory processing, and some people are what researchers call present-focused rather than past-oriented. Your brain is wired to prioritize current information over historical data, while others are running a constant background program called Remember When. You're running what's happening now. Here's what's really wild about nostalgic people. They're not actually remembering accurately. Research from psychologist Konstantin Sedekides shows that nostalgia systematically distorts memory. People remember the good parts and forget the awkward, boring, or painful stuff. It's called rosy retrospection bias. When your friend gets teary-eyed about high school, they're not remembering high school. They're remembering a heavily edited highlight reel that their brain created. But your brain doesn't do that editing. You remember things more accurately, which often means remembering why those times weren't actually that great. Think about it. High school had homework, social anxiety, and terrible cafeteria food. Your 20s had confusion, terrible dating choices, and jobs that barely paid rent. Nostalgic people's brains smooth all that out and just remember the good parts. You remember all of it. And here's something that might blow your mind. People who don't get nostalgic often have better emotional regulation in the present moment. A study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that excessive nostalgia can actually increase depression and anxiety because people start believing their best days are behind them. But people who don't romanticize the past, they're more likely to believe their best days could be ahead of them. They're not emotionally anchored to previous experiences. They're free to create new ones. Psychology calls this temporal focus theory. Some people are past-focused, some are present-focused, and some are future-focused. Present-focused people are actually experiencing their life as it happens, instead of constantly looking backward. And let's talk about what nostalgia actually is. From a psychological perspective, it's often a coping mechanism for present dissatisfaction. When life feels difficult, the brain goes fishing for times that felt safer or happier. It's emotional time travel to escape current problems. People who don't get nostalgic often face current challenges directly rather than escaping into edited memories. Not because they're tougher, but because their brain doesn't offer them that escape route. There's also this thing called hedonic adaptation. Nostalgia tricks people into thinking they used to be happier than they actually were, which makes their current happiness seem insufficient by comparison. Non-nostalgic people don't have that problem. They're not constantly measuring their current life against some mythical, perfect past. But here's where it gets really interesting. People who don't experience nostalgia often have what psychologists call secure attachment to their own identity. They don't need to connect with past versions of themselves to feel whole. Their sense of self is based on who they are now, not who they used to be. And let's be honest about what drives nostalgia in our current moment. Social media has weaponized the past. Every platform has memories, features designed to trigger nostalgic responses, because nostalgia drives engagement. When Facebook shows you a memory from 5 years ago, you're more likely to think, why did I post this? Then I missed those days. You're immune to algorithmic manipulation designed to make you emotionally dependent on the past. While everyone else is being convinced that their best days are behind them, you're living like your best days might be right now or still coming. Research also shows that non-nostalgic people tend to be better at learning from past experiences without being emotionally attached to them. They can extract lessons without wanting to relive them. This makes them more adaptable because they're not trying to recreate conditions that no longer exist. Here's something that might surprise nostalgic people. Non-nostalgic people often have deeper relationships in the present moment. They're not constantly comparing current friends to old friends. They're fully engaged with the people in their life now, instead of being emotionally divided between present and past. But there's one thing that trips up non-nostalgic people. Other people expect them to care about shared memories in ways they just don't. When someone brings up that time when we all did that thing and you don't feel emotional about it, people interpret that as not caring about them. but you care about them now. You just don't need to constantly reference the past to validate current relationships. Here's what's really happening. Nostalgic people use shared memories as a bonding mechanism, but you bond through present moment experiences and future planning. Different emotional currencies for the same relationship goal. And honestly, there's something beautiful about not being nostalgic. You're not trapped by the past. Every day is a blank slate. Every experience can be appreciated for what it is instead of being constantly compared to some edited highlight reel from years ago. So the next time someone shows you a throwback photo, expecting you to get emotional, remember this: your brain isn't broken, it's just free. Free from false memories, free from thinking your best days are behind you, and free to actually live your life instead of constantly mourning some version of it that never really existed. You're not missing out on nostalgia, you're missing out on selective amnesia designed to make you dissatisfied with your present life. And honestly, that sounds like a pretty good deal. Are you someone who never gets nostalgic? Or do you know someone like this? What do you think about different relationships with the past? Let me know, because I have a feeling this hits differently depending on how your brain processes memories. To get more psychology content like this in your feed, please subscribe, hit the like button, and share your experiences with us. You'll be supporting our efforts too. Thanks for watching.